Hey, what's up you guys, it's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to go into part 2 of chapter 1 of The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. So let's get right into this video. This video may contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, I suggest you click off the video now. You have been warned. Sorry, I drew a blank. It's as much of a mystery for me as the rest of the world, she said, and from the flash in Ramsey's eyes, she knew that was a better answer. Okay, keep going. I know all the theories people have about what happened, and if I had to pick the one, Ramsey nodded, urging her on, I think she was trying to leave. She left. Then maybe she was killed by an opportunistic killer. That's the term the media uses. Or maybe she got lost in the White Mountains and died in the snow, and an animal got her to her remains. That's why we never found her. Ramsey leaned forward, finger cupping his chin thoughtfully. So, Belle, you're saying you think the most likely scenario is that your mother is dead? Belle half nodded, staring down at the coffee table in front of her, the full glass bottle of water that was a prop only. She wasn't allowed to drink it. The marble chessboard laid out with all the pieces prepared for battle, her knees pointed down the center in no man's land. The repurposed conference room in the Royalty Inn Hotel on Main Street was the stage. The water bottle, the chessboard, and the cushions were the props. None of this was real to anyone else. It was all for show. Yes, I think she's dead. I think she died that day or not long after. Did she think that? Did it really matter? Gone was gone. Ramsey was looking at the chessboard too now. You say you think your mom was trying to leave, he said, bringing his eyes back. Do you mean that she was running away? Belle shrugged. I guess. But there is compelling evidence that opposes that the runaway theory. Rachel didn't withdraw any money from her bank account in the days and weeks leading up to her disappearance. If she was planning to run away and start a new life, she would have needed money to do that. Not only that, but she didn't take her wallet containing her ID with her, and she'd left her bank cards at home. Nor did she take her phone. She didn't pack any clothes or belongings, none at all. She didn't even take her coat with her. On that freezing day, it was left in the car too, with her phone and wallet. And me, Belle thought. What do you say to that? Ramsey asked her. What did he want her to say? I don't know. Belle went back to those 3 words, hid behind them. Ramsey seemed to sense the barricade backing off and straightening up. You're 18 now, Belle. You weren't even 2 years old when Rachel went missing. 22 months old, in fact. And of course, one of the most notable things about this case that sets it apart from all others was that you were with her. You were with your mom when she disappeared. Yes, Belle said, knowing that question was coming next. It didn't matter how many times it was asked, the answer was the same, and it was worse for Belle. Trust her. And you don't remember anything at all that day? Being in the mall, being in the car? I don't remember anything, she said flatly. I was too young to remember or to tell anyone what I saw that day. And here's the craziest thing. Ramsey leaned forward, words spiking in the middle as he attempted to keep his voice even. You were a toddler, too young to communicate properly with anyone, with the police. But if someone did take Rachel, abduct her from the car where it was found abandoned with you inside, that means you must have seen exactly who it was. You saw them. At one point in time you must have known, however briefly, the answer to the mystery. I know. Crazy, wasn't it? The craziest thing, in fact. Belle closed her eyes. 3 blazing sunspots invading the dark world inside her head. Those lights were just too bright. Were they giving off heat too, or was that just her imagination? Explain why her face was so hot then. Are you okay to continue? Ramsey asked her. Yeah. She didn't have a choice, really. Contracts had been agreed to, waivers and releases signed, and most importantly, she had promised her dad. She could pretend to be nice for his sake, say yes and no and sorry in the right places. You really have no memories from that day at all? No. And she wouldn't the next time he asked to, or the little one after that. She had no memory of what happened, no idea. Just what she knew later, when she was old enough to know things, that she had been left behind, abandoned there in the backseat of the car, however it happened. This case is one of the most discussed and studied on true crime podcasts and social media, enduring in the public consciousness. Even 16 years later, Ramsey said, eyes glittering. The name Rachel Price is almost synonymous with mystery, because her disappearance was like a puzzle, and it's human nature to want to solve a puzzle, don't you think? Was Belle supposed to answer that? Too late. And that's because, Ramsey continued, Rachel seemed to disappear twice that day. Can you tell us what happened that afternoon at 2 p.m., where you and your mom went again? Yes, please, for the camera. Ramsey said, taking the blame off Belle and putting it on the camera instead. Cameras didn't have feelings. Ramsey seemed nice like that, but then, of course, he wanted her to think he was nice, didn't he? Belle cleared her throat. That afternoon, I was in the car with Rachel. She drove us to the White Mountains Mall, which is in Berlin, not far from Gorham, about 10 minutes away. Security cameras recorded both of us walking into the mall. Rachel was carrying me. And why were you at the mall? She often took me there on her days off, I've been told, Belle said. Rachel used to work at a coffee house there, went back for the coffee to see her old friends. That wasn't out of the ordinary. It was called the Moose Mouse Coffee House. Of course, Belle didn't remember that, but she'd seen the security camera footage since the last images of Rachel Price alive, sitting at the coffee house, baby Belle in bright blue padded coat with marshmallow arms, wriggling in Rachel's lap, surrounded by empty tables, blurry but happy. Those tiny figures seemed, not knowing that they were both about to disappear, one for good. But what was out of the ordinary, Ramsey continued, is that after you finished your drinks, Rachel got up to leave, still carrying you. You walked away from the Moose Mouse coffee house at 2:49, and cameras show us this. We can follow you on the footage, but then you turn a corner, a blind spot between the mall security cameras, and he seemed to be waiting for something. We disappeared, Belle said, filling in the blanks. Vanished into thin air, Ramsey said. You don't appear on the camera. You should have if Rachel had kept walking. You don't appear on any of the cameras after that. None of the ones by the exits. Nowhere, which means you couldn't have left. And yet you did. You both disappeared inside the mall, and there is no explanation. Any idea how? I don't know. I don't remember. Bit of a running theme. Police analyzed the footage on Rachel's disappearance. They studied and counted everyone into the mall and counted everyone back out again. The numbers matched except for two, you and Rachel, the only two who entered and never left. The police even considered whether you'd left in disguise for some reason, changed your appearances, but that didn't work with the numbers. You'd simply vanished. Belle shrugged, unsure what Ramsey wanted her to say. She was unvanished now. The next thing we know, you've reappeared. You were found alone in Rachel's car, abandoned on the side of the road, close to the Moose Brook State Park. The car was pulled up on the shoulder in the snow, headlights on, engine still running. A man. Ramsey checked his notes. Julian Tripp was driving past and found you just after 6 o'clock. He called the police immediately. He's actually my homeroom teacher now, Mr. Tripp. Ramsey smiled. Didn't mind the interruption. Small world. Well, small town, Belle corrected him. I think it's clear why true crime fanatics have focused on this case. There have been no answers since the trial ended. It can't be solved, and it will never make sense. It must be so much harder for you because you were there for all of it. Ramsey paused. What has it been like, Belle? Growing up in the shadow of this impossible mystery. No one had ever put it quite like that before. It did feel like a shadow most days, a dark, unpleasant thing that you looked away from if you knew what was good for you. And Belle did. She rubbed her nose hard enough to click the cartilage inside, then remembered she was on camera, the microphone hovering above her. Damn, hopefully Ramsey would edit that out. It's been okay, she said eventually. I accepted a long time ago that we would never have answers. It's not my fault I can't remember any of it. I was just too young, and because I don't have those memories, we will never solve the Rachel Price mystery, but I'm okay with that. Honestly, I have my dad. Belle paused, a small smile stretching her mouth, pulling her chin into a point. He tried his hardest to give me as normal a childhood as possible under the circumstances. He's the best dad I could ask for. That's why I don't want people to feel sorry for me, she said, meaning it. She hoped the camera could tell that. I'm lucky, actually. Ramsey? Ash's voice floated in beyond the light. We're filming, Ash. Ramsey turned to glare at him. Oh, I know. He sidestepped closer and Belle could finally see him again, blinking into existence. It's just we've gone over schedule, and I think... He gestured at the door leading into the lobby of the hotel. Encased in the window panel was a face pushed up against the glass, watching them. Belle shaded her eyes with a cupped hand, but the lights were still too bright to see who it was. She's here already, Ash said, checking the time on his phone. She's early. Who's she? Belle asked. She knew that Carter and Aunt Sherry weren't filming their interviews until next week. Shit, Ramsey hissed, checking his own watch. He glanced quickly at Belle, eyes wide, losing their kind minds. Belle leaned forward, losing hers too. She hardened her voice. Who's here, Ramsey? Who's she? that is the end of this chapter. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.